Good afternoon, ladies in Phoenix Rising Women's Group. Thank you so much for getting to be here now or watching the recording in the future. I am really excited to get to bring Noor Akbar onto into the group today. She's an amazing human being. She gave us a fantastic presentation in our other women's group, the Phoenix Rising Women's Group in the India chapter. And Noor is an intuitive self-love coach, and she really helps people who are excited about life to be able to have more like emotional mastery, coming into more alignment, getting to live also an unapologetically authentic life. We're definitely in alignment in that one. And she helps people to not have so much self-sabotage in both their business and in their personal lives. So I'm really excited to have her here to help us reclaim our power for those of you that are out there who are in the midst of a breakup or divorce or in a relationship where maybe you're not sure whether or not you should leave and you are feeling a little bit powerless, but really to just step forward to have an authentic experience and talk about life, and relationships and the sometimes very messy aspect of them. So Noor, thank you again so much for being here on the show today.
Thank you, Elysia. Thank you for the introduction and having me here. Today, I am going to show you and talk to you about reclaiming your power as a woman in our current society, especially during and after a breakup and divorce. What I do want to mention here is instead of taking this as information, whoever's watching on replay live, I want you to just get relaxed in your body, open up into your heart space and breathe into it. Instead of seeing this, another information, I want you to take what resonates with you, what clicks with you, and use that instead of, this is information, this is what I got to absorb. Like, no, let's not crash your head with more social media stuff right now, but simply take in the wisdom that resonates.
That sounds great to me. It's definitely one of those spaces where I think there's so much information out there for people, and it's nice to be able to engage and just see it's like we're just friends sitting here having a conversation and having advice and just seeing what naturally flows forward. Thank you so much, whoever's on. I see we got 2 people watching, so Noor, go ahead and take it away.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Let me know once you can see it.
All right, we've got it. Reclaiming your power as a woman.
Yes,
I like the lady of the cape, especially. That's fantastic.
Yes, me too. So actually, there's a reason I added the small lady cape. The reason being is in our current world, and even from previous generations, we already have the superpower, this power within us. But look at her face. She looks so innocent and pure, and because of this innocence and purity, we have been suppressed in many ways, and so we look innocent and not sharing and shining our power. This is where the transformation comes, and then that lady with the cape comes in. I'm very fantasy like sometimes.
I'm here for it. I love the superheroes.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. So yes, woman. Okay. Remember what a woman means to you. Just contemplate and feel on that, what it actually means without what society has told you that. Okay, so the first bit is education, but it's wisdomous wise education, the law of assumption. Here, I just want to explain how life generally works and what happens in our relationships through the law of assumption, the law of attraction, the law that basically enables you to create and attract whatever it is in your reality. And your beliefs, your thoughts, your emotions are what creates that manifestation. So when it comes to relationships, especially a divorce or a current breakup that's happening, or a terrible conflict or argument that's happening, it's important to be aware of what your beliefs are during those moments, because so many people go in the state of blaming. Why did this happen to me? What did I do to create this? Or why did that person do this to me? There's so many of like why, that we fall into a rabbit hole of self-blaming instead of actually just seeing our reality as information. Yes, we have emotions. Yes, we are humans to experience emotions. but we're here to experience them also as information and without attachment, without victimhood. So, and how you show up in one area is how you show up in other area. So this is not just relationships, but however you're showing up in your relationships, you will also see that energy showing up in other places, business, just how your thoughts run your life or how you're running your life. So if you feel, for example, you don't feel enough in a relationship, you don't feel good enough, you're going to feel that elsewhere too, in your business and your family and all those places. And in my life, I've always wanted this specific man for me. But when I would share it with my friends, with my mom, they would say, you're being too fussy. You're being too fussy. So because of that, I ended up compromising and just cutting off things on my list. And I would settle with so much less, especially in our culture, the Asian culture, where we would just listen to what our parents are saying and just do what they're saying. Maybe I'm wrong, they're right, so just follow it. So because of that, I also thought, shit, I can't have what I want. And I used to just pray. This is a little weird, but I used to pray that I have this perfect man who's perfect God, and that I can have him. And I thought, okay, this is never possible. I'm just going to continue imagining it and dreaming it. But let me tell you, it is possible. It is possible when you know what your desire is. So if you feel you're not good enough, you can't have what you want, it's time to realign your beliefs, your thoughts, your emotions with your true desire. Your desire is already there. Our responsibility is to simply declutter the noise that says we cannot. So the law of assumption is conscious creation and assuming the desire, assuming you already have the desire. So if your desire is to get that specific person, or even if you're already in a relationship and you're having some conflicts, this is what I've done in my relationship. I've had conflicts in my relationship, and I wanted a specific desire in my relationship. And naturally, through conscious creation and your energetical state, your mindset, your beliefs, it helps you rearrange and organize what is in alignment for you. And that helps the relationship to open up to love more. And it's like magically, but what's actually happening is when you align energetically and in your thoughts and beliefs, things work out for you in alignment for your true nature. So remembering this is all about awareness and information, your wise, deep information, not information that's very attached to the outside or your emotions. And what's needed with this conscious creation is embodiment. This is not simply sitting down and manifesting what you want, but it's actually, yes, sitting down, being clear with what you want, embodying the energy, because if you don't embody the energy, you go back to your old victim space. So the embodiment is necessary.
What does embodiment mean?
What
does that mean for some
Great
people?
question. I'm glad you asked. So, okay, let's say right now, my desire is to have a red car. But right now, my state is I have these thoughts and beliefs that says, oh, I can't get that red car. I'm not good enough for that red car. So I keep having this shitty looking gray car. I don't have a gray car, but let's say that's what it is. So the embodiment there is, I'm not good enough to have that red car. I don't have enough money, for example. And so that's what I keep expressing. I don't have this, I don't have this, I don't have this. So that is my embodiment of the energy, that this is not good enough for me, so I'm not going to have that red car. But when it comes to aligning your energy and beliefs and embodying the new beliefs, then I'm going to start expressing and believing that I am enough for this red car. I have plenty of money for this red car. So the embodiment makes it easier to manifest what you want versus affirming. Affirming is simply accessories, but the whole embodiment piece is basically shifting. It's like you're shedding your skin from the old you to the new you, because you already have that desire and you keep floating around with that energy in the world. Yeah. Okay. If you have any questions in this slide, drop your comments below. We will get back to that. Okay, second part. We will always go back to the first part later, but what's really, really important before you manifest or even desire what you want is nurturing yourself during and even after a stressful divorce and breakup. And that's the whole topic of this afternoon too.
Definitely.
Nurturing is so misunderstood. People are in the culture of let's go, 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 that they don't stop down and just slow down. It's like there's this nervous energy in slowing down. Oh, if I slow down, am I being productive? If I slow down, are things working out for me? So nurturing is so misunderstood. And when we step into that energy of nurturing, we invoke that power of gentleness, like a gentle giant awakens. And what that happens is we tune into our body. We remind ourselves that our body is safe. We remind ourselves that our environment is actually safe. And we remind ourselves that everything is actually working out for us. If only we can slow down and tap into that gentleness, because without that, the mind is acting up so much and we're not listening to our inner wisdom. So nurturing is like brushing your teeth. It's not something that, oh, I gotta practice this 10 minutes a day to make sure I'm a good person and I'm loving myself. But it's part of life to slow down. It's part of life to slow down. It's part of life to give you and provide you what you want, what you're needing, what your inner child is asking from you. Inner child is simply a concept of that innocence in you. Some people also see it as your unconscious side, your dark side, but it's basically self-acceptance. And what is that part of you what is the part of you that needs your love? There's something in you that is requiring your attention instead of running outwardly and seeking validation, seeking love outside. Love outside comes naturally when you provide for yourself. So now when it comes to stressful breakup and divorce, which I'll share my experience, I was in an emotionally abusive relationship, verbally and emotionally, okay? So I left the house because I knew, intuitively, I knew it was time to leave. That's for me, it doesn't work that way for everyone. I wanted to leave. It was suppressing my intuition, it was suppressing my inner child. And people in my life just started appearing and offering me help. They offered me money, they offered me a house to stay, they offered me food, all of that stuff when I didn't have that much. And when I started living on my own, every morning I would wake up with this crazy stomach ache in my tummy right before I went to work. It felt so uneasy. I had to run to a restroom. I didn't know what to do. I felt extremely lonely. So I knew it was time to nurture myself. And luckily, I spent so many years nurturing myself after I left my country, Malaysia, because I was also very hurt that time. I had a lot of childhood trauma, and I took a few years after that, after coming to USA, to learn how to process my emotions. So I had the tool in my hand to nurture myself during the divorce that my ex and I were going through. What nurturing at that time looked for me like was being present with my emotions, being present with my mind as well, because I really wanted to give my mind a break, to stop being scared, to reparent and retrain myself that, hey, I'm safe in my body. I'm safe in my body. Let's just be present with my fear and let it go. And I did that for a few, like 1 to 2 weeks, and I felt much more stable again, so much less anxiety. So nurturing during stressful times is really important. Sometimes people outside of you will expect you to get going and do something, but that comes to people pleasing again. You have to please yourself first, please your mental and emotional health. This, combining with the slide one, brings in awareness and education. Your emotions are simply information, they're messengers to what is actually going on within your body. They're not something to react to, they're not something to be your enemy with, because it's all going on inside of you. It's time to befriend your mind and emotions. There's no blame here, no judgment, and no reaction, simply acceptance. Any
Absolutely.
questions so far?
No, just seconding the importance of being able to just allow yourself to feel all of the feelings without judgment, and to discover ways that help you functionally channel the energy that is produced from the different emotions, instead of like stuffing it inside of you, and that you can actually utilize all emotions and the energy that comes from it, be it rage or frustration or joy or anything along those
Yeah.
lines. Maybe you have some
Yeah.
suggestions of how people can really acknowledge and harness that energy to be able to put forth in creative and functional ways.
Yeah, I also I'm glad you mentioned the positive emotions as well, because in the realm of like trauma, emotional coaching, all mental health coaching, right? We talk so much about the negative emotions, but we also miss acknowledging our positive emotions. We miss complimenting and praising ourselves. Um, and what happens to the positive emotions is that we push it down because we don't know how to actually just enjoy them. So, for
Yeah.
example, I struggle a lot with I used to struggle a lot with receiving compliments, and I'm sure so many of us can relate to this too. I wasn't complimented that much during my childhood, so when I came to US, I learned how to compliment because I would see people complimenting each other easily. Like even saying thank you, I thought that was a compliment. And I'm like, how do they do that? How do they do that? I gotta learn it. So I started to do it within me, but I never verbalized it. I was still like shy about it. Um, and I noticed it's because I didn't even compliment myself. I didn't acknowledge myself. So when it comes to positive emotions, this is also an important place to recognize that all emotions, it's just labeled positive and negative because of what we see around us and what's taught to us. But in reality, in truth, is our emotions are simply energy. Nothing is bad, nothing is good. It's what you make out of it. What's the meaning for you? And the meaning for you can be different for somebody else. So always listen to your meaning instead of taking on somebody else's meaning too. Um, and the way to really get down to being present with our emotions is to simply be aware of the feeling in the body. Now, if you're new to this, usually your story is going to take over, whether it's a negative story or a positive story. Let the story be there, but don't you don't have to be attached to it, because the treasure is in your emotional energy. And what I mean by treasure is your inner wisdom is within your emotional energy that shows you how your mind is working, how you're taking in information from the outside, and how you're expressing yourself. So if you feel very attached to your story, especially negative ones, simply retrain your mind as if it's a child, so that you can cut the stories out. You can let it play, but cut it out and focus on the body, because your wisdom is inside the body and the movement of the body.
Absolutely. And it might be interesting to talk as well about being okay with feeling positive emotions during times that could be negative and chaotic. Because sometimes it seems like, oh, I should be sad all the time and all these different things that are going on. But maybe you're happy and you're grateful that the difficult divorce or breakup is happening, because it's actually positive
Yeah.
for you. And everybody's like, oh, you must be so sad. And it can be awkward to be like, oh, but I'm actually incredibly grateful, and this is amazing to finally have had
Yeah.
the
Oh my
strength to
gosh.
like
I love
let
that you're
go.
yeah. Yeah. That is so good. When in my emotional processing journey, I didn't know the terminology that time, but now when I look back, I saw that I was becoming more emotionally intelligent. So certain stressful times, I will be really at peace, maybe with like a slight shakiness, but that's it. But then people outside would say like, why aren't you getting angry? Why are you forgiving this person? Why are
Mhm.
you this? Why are you that? Da, da, da. So when I had this divorce, my family was seeing it as failure. My family was seeing it
Mm.
as failure. And to me, I was so happy inside. I was so happy and so relieved that I saw it as a success of cutting out this trauma. Um, and when we are surrounded by people who don't get what we're thinking or saying, even after explaining it, they're still not understanding. For me, what is in alignment with me is that I chose not to keep sharing too much with them, because in my experience, that the more I share this, the more it's not received in a supportive manner. And that's okay. That's just the difference between us. I choose what to share and what not to share. Um, so in moments of those where you have a really like negative situation that's looked at from outside, but then you're feeling really at peace, invite people who are supportive of that and share with them. Even if you don't have someone in your life right now who can do that, be open to calling in that opportunity, because that happened to me. I felt extremely lonely during my marriage, during my divorce, didn't have anyone on my side that I could speak to openly. But during the divorce, I just surrendered myself after I saw one person providing a space for me to live in, one person helping me be a babysitter so that I could get money. I just surrendered, and I'm like, okay, I'm surrendering. I don't know what to do. You just figure it out, universe. And then more people started coming into my life, and I learned how to like also um, focus and redirect the energy so that I could fulfill my desires. Yeah.
No, that's really beautiful. And it sounds like that's one of the first steps in being able to reclaim your power in one of those situations of breakup or divorce. And how do you reclaim your power within that family dynamic, right? So your solution to that was giving less information, right? But you didn't feel like you had to give into the pressure of them wanting to necessarily know everything that was going on. And you just being like, you don't need to understand what I'm
Mm-hmm.
going through or why I'm doing it, but this is what I need to do, and finding other people that are in alignment with you and your journey and in a space to be able to hold you in a healthy way, authentically, and with proper boundaries and all of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not the same for everyone. I've seen people where, somehow their parents open up more and they're able to have those conversations. Once in a while, I also work in that area, so I could share a little bit more. But as of this moment, I choose what is right for me and what is not. Yeah.
No, it's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Claiming your power. So what there are so many ways to interpret claiming your power. Um, I will share what this means from my experience. So I also do energy work, and what that means is I understand how things begin from an energy perspective, because even your beliefs, your emotions, they're energy. So claiming your power from an energy perspective helps you. It's like pouring water. Let's say you're this flask, and yeah, and you're pouring water, and that's the energy of power. And when you're drinking the energy of power, your mind starts to recognize what that looks like for you. So when you're claiming your power, every single person has a different definition. So tune in to what claiming your power means for you, while I also share what was my experience and what I can share right now. So every single person is unique, right? We have our own gifts, we have our own DNA, we have our own genius zone, brain intelligence, but there is also the interconnectedness that makes us one, coming from one source. So there's the beautiful dynamic in there. So when you claim your power, it is specific to you as an individual, as a soul, and it is also in alignment with source. You are the creator of your reality. This is This is a fact. This is a fact. I never say this is a fact because I know there's so many facts, but this is a fact. This is a universal fact because you're simply here expressing yourself as a human being. So you are the creator of your reality. You own your beliefs. Whatever beliefs you have in your reality right now, you own them. And what I mean by you own them, you have the power to shift them. You have the power to manipulate the energy or the beliefs around it. And the way to awaken your creatorship, to steer the ship, is to awaken your creative powers through unconditional love. And this is also tuning into what unconditional love means for you. It's not what the world defines love as. A lot of what the world is defining love as right now, at least with the conventional world, it comes with a lot of conditions. So don't think what love means for you, but tune in. And what I mean by tuning in, connect to your body and start listening to the whispers of your intuition, your soul, your inner voice. Are there any questions around this? You can drop it in the comments too if you're on replay.
No, that all sounds good so far. And we can, like you said, I can always forward the questions to Noor if she misses them later. And we can close.
Let me see, let's check the time.
Bring it,
okay.
we can bring it back to that.
Yeah.
Of your own reality. It is really important because one person's value system is not necessarily going to be the same as another person's value system. I feel like in general, that's actually pretty much guaranteed. Because there's always at least nuanced differences from your own personal life story, and learning how to hold a space of neutral curiosity for other people, because as we experience different cultures, different stories, different experiences, we get to see what threads and like weaves in the beautiful tapestry of life for us to continue to inform and involve our experience as we get to redefine who that person is as our authentic selves and expand instead of always just being in a box of what we were told to do, what we were taught, what we experienced at a younger age, and societal interventions or familial thoughts. And that's the beauty of getting to do things like this and meet new people and having grace and compassion with yourself, that even if you told somebody something 5 minutes ago that was true for you, if you had an aha moment, you learned something new, and then you're in a new space. It doesn't mean that that you lied to that person 5 minutes ago. It means that you had a new experience, and now you are now informed and was able to resonate in a different way. And that can be tricky for people sometimes, where they're like, I just talked to you yesterday, now you're saying something entirely different. And you needing to be able to have the strength to stand in that new space and be like, you're right. Yesterday it was different. Yesterday I didn't have the understanding that I have today, and now I'm engaging with you in a new way that my reality has shifted.
Yeah, that's so true. And yeah, I forgot to mention how this can play out, let's say after a divorce or during a divorce. And I want to share the example of, from my experience, what claiming my power looked like is, so going backwards a little bit, I'm from a culture where women are generally more submissive to the men. So, and even though I'm not really a cultural person, I never really felt like I belonged in my culture. But even at that level, like if you resonate with that, there's still some part where you are exposed to the culture already, because you're spending like 20 I spent 20 years there, even subconsciously, because your parents are taking it on, you're surrounded by that kind of mentality, your cousins are around. So I have already absorbed the energy of like, okay, I'm submissive to a man now. So when I entered this kind of relationship, I was all in. I was like, I'm madly in love with you. Let's have fun, all that stuff. And yeah, we were madly in love. We were crazy about each other. And I felt like I had to give in a lot to him and let him have it his way. And what happened was my intuition started shutting down, and I could tell because I have like clairaudience, in inaudible messages coming in, and I started to feel very disconnected from my body. I couldn't hear anything.
Yeah.
I fell ill quite a number of times as well.
Mm.
So for me, coming out of that marriage itself was a step that says I'm choosing me without even realizing this.
Yeah.
After like a few months later, I'm like, okay, that was what I did. Um, I'm choosing me. I'm going to focus on me. I'm never going to let my intuition down ever again, because I was really frustrated and angry with myself mostly.
Sure.
And what claiming my power looked like was the nurturing. Nurturing is so gentle, but that's where the power is, to simply be present with our emotions and to see it for what it is, and to claim back power around authority. I had a huge fear around authority. Not being an American citizen, I was having issues with the immigration, with the divorce lawyer. I thought I had issue with divorce lawyer. I had issue with the IRS because he was involved with that. And so there was a lot of fear of authority that stirred my body up. I felt a lot of anxiety in my pelvis area every time. Right before going to the couple counseling, I would run to the bathroom and I'd be late for it, just because I had that fear, like, oh, he's going to take over. I'm going to look bad. I might even go to prison. Because he actually did go to the sheriff to complain about me.
Wow.
And the sheriff came into my job at that time. I was a personal trainer, to hand me a letter. So seeing that kind of authoritative figure at my work with the letter that has my complaints against me, immediately as a non-citizen, that, like, oh my God, am I going to go to prison?
Terrifying. Yeah.
That was very terrifying, especially being a empath or highly sensitive individual like that. That's very shaky. So claiming your power is all about who have you who have you given your power to? Your parents, your spouse, your bosses, your whoever you work for, or whoever you think is bigger than you. You have put someone on a pedestal. That's where your power is, and it's all about claiming your power back and making the right decisions for you instead of someone else making the decision for you. Yeah.
Absolutely. Those are all excellent points. I would like to add to it that, like, for me, part of my journey was in reclaiming my power in various levels of life was forgiving people that I felt like had wronged me. Um, literally had, or just like in my mind
Mm-hmm.
had, and to be able to forgive them so that I wasn't continually handing my power over to them out of fear or frustration, and allowing myself to be at effect of that experience. And so to be able to let go, and reminding people that forgiving people for actions and words is not the same as condoning their behavior. The forgiveness comes from just cutting the energetic cord to that person and saying, like, I forgive you for what you did, and I'm not going to allow it to continue to impact
Yeah.
me emotionally and energetically, and just having healthier boundaries with that. And I feel like putting healthy boundaries in place is a really wonderful way to reclaim your power and stand in that truth. And then an additional step for me was not only forgiving them, but having compassion for them as people, to be like, wow, like, it must be really hard for you to be in that space that you felt like that action was an acceptable thing for you to do. And
Right.
not saying it in a condescending or shaming manner, but being authentic and just seeing it as another human, another soul, and that, like, our existence can be really messy. And we all have our story of why we do things that are non-ideal and self-sabotaging behaviors to ourselves, or how we wrong targeted other people. And to be able to hold that grace while still having boundaries can be incredibly empowering.
Yeah, yeah, very true. Boundaries are extremely important, and when we honor our own boundaries, naturally things will work out, and people will back off and not get into your head too. I do want to bring, which I didn't make a slide here, But I do want to bring attention to going back to slide 1, especially for those of you who are going through a breakup or divorce, or you have passed the duration, but you are after the divorce period and you're still struggling. You can come back to the law of assumption and simply claim your desires, realign your thoughts, beliefs, emotions, what it is you want to experience in your life right now, and focus on that. What it is you want to experience in your relationship right now, and assume your desire already fulfilled and persist with that. If you're still struggling with what has happened, it's time to nurture yourself so that you can be at peace. Forgive, just like Elysia mentioned about forgiveness. Forgiveness not just about cutting the cord with that person, but also the energy within you that may have created that situation, and forgiving yourself and letting it all go and realigning with your new beliefs and thoughts and emotions.
Absolutely. Forgiving yourself is incredibly important. Because it's really difficult to move forward if you're not forgiving yourself in the process. And sometimes you can feel like, well, it's my fault because I put myself in the position to experience that, and taking away the shame and like, all the pieces that go with that, and just be like, okay, well, I'm here now. And even if I did put myself in that position because I wasn't healed or whatever, I'm still here now, and what can I do to take my power back in the now? Because none of us can change the past. And important part of the process.
And so I brought these journal prompts here. I can also copy paste in the group if someone wants this. But it's all about connecting with your power, embracing your power and expanding it. Do you want me? Should I read it or?
Yeah, definitely read it out loud, and then we can put it in the comments below later.
Okay. So when you're starting with this exercise, the most important thing to know is to connect to your heart space and invite your highest self or unconditional love, which is all about your highest knowing. Because if you do this from a mental space, you are going to be in a trap. You're going to be in a trap and you might not find your way out. So let your mind simply relax and watch the show. Your mind is your child. Connect to your heart space. And the first question is, what does power mean for me? Without looking externally, how do I feel with my power? You can feel it. The answers will come either immediately or sometime later. Continue writing and journaling. Sometimes you just have to dump your mind out and the answers will start coming too. Second part is, where do I not feel this power? Now, this is not about bringing blame or shame. This is simply bringing awareness, because you will find the golden wisdom within your energy of lack. And it's not necessarily that you're lacking. It's just the energy that's existing in there, and you want to open the curtains and step into abundance. Third question is, how can I embrace and embody my power? What can I do to bring more power in places where I don't feel my power? And how can I keep expanding that daily? How can I keep expanding my power daily, every single day? One small step. You don't have to think about all the 100 steps, or it doesn't have to be something humongous, like go take a private jet to some island or something like that. But
sounds kind of amazing though. It does.
Yes, it does. It does. But one simple step, even like making a new breakfast for me makes me feel powerful. That itself is super empowering. I just want to share. I'm so silly. Look at that heart.
I love it. You little goofy heart guy.
I just wanted to share how you are welcome to work with me. It's not literally a theme park. I'm not going to take it to a theme park, but I like to.
You don't want to take them to a theme park? A theme park of your mind and your hearts, and the journey of the wiggles and the spins, and how you can come back to send
Yes,
that
that's true. That's
right
true.
in.
And in this line of work, you know, things can come off as serious. So in my personal work, I make sure there's some sense of fun and playfulness in my work. So the first is the current program that I'm running is Royal Expressive Sassy Souls. Sassy because you are the creator and you are going to get what you want. You are the creator, period. This is a 16-week program that you get to work with me. Option to work one-on-one or as a group, and you will be guided throughout the 16-week with full support as well. The second one is if you do not want to be assigned to a program, but you want it to be free-flowing, fluid with whatever struggle you're going through right now, I am here to support you and help you connect to your true nature, your true intuition, and start working around that as well.
That's fantastic. I love it. It's such a pleasure to get to bring so many different coaches and experts from various fields into the group and have that abundance mindset that we all have our own journey. We're all going to resonate with different people and just get to support people globally. And it's just a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I love that you're able to. I don't feel it's my expertise, but I admire and love how you're able to pick people and bring them together and support each other as a community as well.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Well, it's been lovely getting to have you here on the show, and I think we'll even be able to post this up for other people to be able to find you, which would be fantastic. And you are also on Instagram. So where can people find you on Instagram if they'd love to support you and follow some of your other work?
Yes. On Instagram, you can find me at noor.alchemy. If you're on TikTok, which I'm planning to do more of now, I'm not into the hippie, trendy dancing stuff, but I have some videos on there. It's noor.the D as in THE.alchemist. And I'll also share that in the group on the comments in case you missed it.
That'll be fantastic.
Yes.
Well, go ahead.
Sorry. I also want to say I'm on Facebook. If you don't have Instagram, you can reach out to me on Facebook. You can find me in the Elysias group. Yeah.
That sounds wonderful. So thank you again so much for sharing all of your wisdom. Not all, there's so much wisdom, so much more that she could possibly give you. And you also work with gentlemen.
I do, yes. I actually enjoy that too, yeah.
There's just so much for her to be able to offer all of you out there. So, and then if anybody's interested in co-hosting one of these calls with me in this group or for anybody in my men's group, Global Resources for Men, I would love to get to hear from you. I also do empowerment coaching with and without horses, and then men's mindset coaching and sex coaching as well, which is one of the newer things to my repertoire. So people can find me on Instagram at Elysia Bus. And then, of course, on Facebook, Elysia Jane Bus. And then we have our group here, which hopefully more of you will get to engage with. And we look forward to getting to see you soon. So until next time, ladies, we'll see you later.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much.